you are adopted, you feel like you're part of a family, part of a community, and this celebratory environment, like the way that the community salutes you and embraces you, that it's a second to none experience.
Okay, we're live. Welcome to Experiences You Should Have, your how-to guide for amazing experiences. This is Gail, and I am here at the world's largest podcast conference here in Orlando, Florida. And I met some amazing people here. Dana Costin and Amy Rolls Costin, and they are from Run, Eat, Drink podcast. And definitely go check it out wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can also go to runeatdrink.net. And Run, Eat, Drink, I'm going to call it Red, is a podcast on fun destination races. We're talking 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathon. So not so much the ultra running. It's a little bit shorter races, except it's a little bit long for me. And they also love to eat and drink delicious local food and drink. And Amy and Dana are native Floridians. And I lived in Florida too for like a little bit, way back. But but they enjoy running, they enjoy eating, they enjoy drinking.
Oh, yeah.
And
we
like
podcast about those three things.
And we do.
That's
Yes.
right. Isn't it great?
We talk about it.
And well, it's so cool because we were sitting in a conference room earlier today, and I'm like, and I started a podcast, and I'm like, okay, you do a podcast on destination races.
We do.
I turned to you, and I said, okay, what is that one race that you have to do? Like, what is it out of all these? Let's just sort through it. What's that one experience that you should have, which is on experiences you should have, that we should really focus on? And you guys responded with the Donna Marathon Weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was funny, without us conferring with one another, we
Right.
came up with the same answer.
Yes.
Not at all. I mean, I looked at you, you looked at me. We were like, it's the Donna.
Yeah,
Yes.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
The Donna, I love it. So we are all about finding those unique experiences around the world and then giving a how-to guide to make them happen. But I want to hear about your experience at the Donna, because I have not experienced the Donna.
Well, our coach, Jeff Galloway, helped found this race with Donna Deegan, who the race is named after, and she is a breast cancer survivor. And so she and her doctor, Dr. Edith Perez, and Jeff Galloway said, we want a community race, an amazing experience, regardless of your athletic ability, to support a fantastic cause. So we heard about it from him, but you really don't know until you experience the weekend just how much of a community it is and how much it's an every man's and every woman's race.
And yeah, this is a race that's for survivors, it's for family members, it's for those that may have lost somebody to breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is going to be affected in one way or another by this disease.
Right.
Until they're able to eradicate it. And Donna Deegan, taking her own cachet that she brought to the topic, because she was a local TV personality in the Jacksonville, Florida area.
Mm-hmm.
And by partnering with the Mayo Clinic, which is based in Jacksonville, they have some of the brightest spotlights and the biggest megaphones to use to raise awareness and raise money for breast cancer research. And that's exactly what they're doing with this race.
And to support those who are fighting the disease and their families.
And that's a huge component. A lot of people don't realize that you are, it's not just the patient that's impacted. It's if you're having to make trips to a hospital or to a clinic over weeks and months, that's putting you out in terms of money. It's putting you out in terms of where to stay, and having this event that's raising money, that's raising awareness, that's helping these families. fantastic. And they've been doing it for several years now, and it's just, they've got it down. They've nailed it in terms of the community feel, in terms of the smoothness of the event itself. It's just a fantastic event from beginning to end.
Yes,
really.
the whole entire weekend starts out with a social shakeout run, so everybody can come together and go just 5K and get to know each other, hear stories, and just kick off the weekend right. And then on Saturday of the race weekend, there is a 5K.
Yeah.
And they start an ultra, if that's your thing, to do the higher mileage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, there's a half marathon and a full marathon. So really there are races of every length. So it doesn't matter what your ability level is. Also, the time limits are so high. You can walk, and you really do want to experience the whole entire race. It's not something you want to rush through.
Sure.
Because you're surrounded by people who are celebrating their loved ones, who are breast cancer survivors, and the neighborhoods of Jacksonville create such an atmosphere. They decorate in pink and white balloons. They're out there in front of their houses, and they have coffee, they have juice for the runners, they have all sorts of treats, homemade muffins.
You're adopted by the community for the few
Yeah.
hours that you're running through these neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and the families are spending their entire morning. Some people are there all day, and we've had people say that they're going to be out in front of their house until the last runner goes by.
Wow.
And they're feeding you, they're making you breakfast in the morning. Some of the treats are a little more adult in nature. They're handing you beers,
Beer.
and mimosas,
Mimosas.
and Jello shots.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
But
Yeah.
and it's that adoption by the community that is so big, and part of that is, of course, because, like I said, everybody's affected by the disease, but you also have the Mayo Clinic, which is one of the largest, most prestigious medical facilities in the United States, in
Right.
the world.
Right.
And they're a large employer in that area, so
Yeah.
so many of those families are connected to Mayo that are out there supporting the runners, and so many of the employees from Mayo are running.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're in the race themselves.
Now, I've never done a race. I was signed up once, and then it got canceled, and I was
no.
I was so relieved, actually, because I am not a runner, and this is something that I need to maybe work through and maybe try a race sometime. But so I don't know much about races. Generally, when you've gone to races around the world, have you felt that community, or is that something that's really unique to this race?
I think it's unique to it myself.
I think that they execute that community feel. I think it's one of the best for that kind of, you are adopted, you feel like you're part of a family, part of a community, and the celebratory environment, like the way that the community salutes you and embraces you, that it's a second to none experience here. And although we felt it to a certain degree at other races that we've been to, it's just, I can't tell you, when you cross the start line of the half marathon and they have like the paper that they shoot out of the cannons,
confetti.
the confetti,
Yeah.
the confetti, yeah, coming down on you as you start that race, I'm getting goosebumps even now, thinking about that feeling of what you're doing to help support such a great cause and to honor loved ones that have been affected by this disease also around, in our family. So, I just, that community feel, I think, it's second to none at this particular race weekend. And they're on year number 13 doing this, so they know how to do it right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it helped when you have the Donna Deegan, who the race is named after. She was part of that community as a newscaster, and when you have news anchors that settle into a community, they become local celebrities.
Yeah.
People adopt them as their own. That's my newscaster. That's the person I trust to get my information from.
Yeah.
That level of trust, I think, translates into, well, you're going to put your name to something, we're going to support you. So that has helped them over the last 13 years really build that in the community, and it shows. It's a 13-mile long party.
Or 26.2.
Or 26.2. Or 100.
110 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or 5K.
But we do the half marathon distances. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a wonderful experience, and I think that it's something everybody should experience, that kind of race environment. And I'm so happy that it doesn't matter what your athletic ability is, what level you're at, you can do it. You can, and the whole point is not to be a speedster or finish first. It's about the experience and meeting people and hearing their stories and being celebrated as part of that community.
Which, don't get us wrong, if you are a speedster,
That's cool.
by all means.
It's a Boston qualifying course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it.
So, I mean, there's something in it for everybody, I would say.
Okay, but for those of us who get that that stitch in the side, if you run for longer than 30 seconds, you can walk this race.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They have a number of teams that go out and they'll walk the whole thing together. Families are walking this together. They've all got their shirts on honoring the family member that may have passed.
Okay.
Or supporting the family member who's just finished their last round of chemo and they're out walking that course with them. I lost my mom in 2016 to breast cancer, so for me it's hard to do this race without crying along the course, and sometimes I do. And that's okay. There's people out there who've been through what you've been through.
Oh, yeah.
There are people out there who are on that journey right now.
Yeah.
And getting to share that stretch of road with them for a few hours is pretty special. And it doesn't matter how fast you're going.
It doesn't.
And the best part of that is that the race organizers get it.
Yes, because one of them is Jeff Galloway, who is an Olympian from back in the 1970s. But he has adopted the run, walk, run community. So he has training plans that support the Donna weekend that are out there right now. People are starting to gear up, even though the race is not even until February.
Okay.
And it takes you, here, you can start from your couch to the mailbox. And then maybe you go a little bit further and a little bit further. It's such a doable thing to prepare for this race weekend, whether it's the couch to 5K,
Right.
or you're going to try the half marathon or the full marathon distance. And the training groups that are a part of Run, Walk, Run are all over the country, so you can find support to get it done. And like we said, it doesn't matter how fast you are. It's about enjoying the experience, so you don't have to worry about being picked up from the course, or there's wonderful support. And it's that kind of race. If you're wanting to make your first foray in there, you don't have to worry about having the side stitch. You don't have to worry about anything like that. You have support in those training groups in Jeff Galloway. He has all his plans up at jeffgalloway.com. And it's just, if you have been inspired and want to do something like this, that community is where to do it, and it gives you the avenues to be successful.
Yeah, and Jeff's training is really geared towards starting out from that couch to 5K. The run, walk, run method, it's exactly what it sounds like. You're running for a little bit, then you walk, then you run a little bit more, then you walk.
Okay.
And you'll do that for the whole race.
All right.
Yeah.
And it makes it incredibly approachable. That's what got us off the couch at first.
Yeah.
Down 70 plus pounds each.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we're able to go and do these runs, and we're using that run, walk, run method and getting faster as we continue to train.
Yeah.
Well, first off, Dana, thank you for sharing your story about your mom.
Oh, you're welcome.
I mean, that is huge. I still have goosebumps. I really understanding the meaning behind this race and what it must mean for you and the people there, and and to feel that energy in the race.
To see the number of people wearing survivor bibs is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then to see the number of people that are running in memoriam,
Wow.
it's amazing in a different way. But it's one of the most special race events that we ever done, and it's one that we have decided we do every year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Even though we travel to races all over the country in
Yeah.
different areas, that's one that we always come back to each year.
And even after the race, after you get your medal, yes, there is bling too for anybody who is in it for the medals and that. But after the race in the Runner's Village, to be able to talk to those survivors and to talk to those family members and to hear their stories and to celebrate and honor, it's like it's second to none. Really, really.
And just a quick shout out to a friend of ours, Andy Sharp,
Yes.
the fastest woman at that course,
breast cancer survivor.
Yep. And doctor at Mayo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So, I mean, she's inspiring, and she and her group, the Bouncy Hunters.
Yes.
It's a bunch of doctors and hospital professionals that get together. They raise money. They run as a team. They train as a team. They go to different events. But she was the fastest woman in the course this year.
Wow,
Yeah.
incredible. Hi, Andy.
Andy. And I think she did it last year too. I think
Yes.
she was the top survivor last year, and it's just she's amazing, and the funds that they raise to see how they support the families and how they support people who are going through that battle. She's great. They have a Facebook group.
Yeah.
They have a Bouncy Hunters Facebook group.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll provide all that information in the show notes on
Sure.
experiencesyoushouldhave.com. But I'd like to roll into some logistics here
Okay.
because this is such a special and powerful race. I see this is why this is the race that you both came to today that you wanted to share. So first off, where is the race?
Well, the race proper begins on the beaches of Jacksonville,
Yep.
right literally on the border between Neptune Beach and Atlantic Beach.
Okay.
But that's basically a suburb of Jacksonville. So to say Jacksonville would be accurate.
Jacksonville and the Jacksonville Beach area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you get to Jacksonville, Florida?
Oh, well, goodness. If for us, it's a 6-hour drive north
Okay.
since we're
In South
native
Florida.
Floridians
right.
ourselves.
Yeah.
But do they have an airport there that you could fly into for the race?
Yes, Jacksonville International. You could fly
Yeah.
in there. Of course, it's right on I-95. You could drive in if you're in the southeastern United States. A lot of people make the drive. Tons of people coming from Georgia, Alabama,
Right.
in the adjoining states.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Now, when is the next race? And then is it typically on like the same weekend each year?
Yes, it is typically on the same weekend every year. It's the second weekend in February. So the 2020 races, they'll be the weekend of February 9th.
Okay.
Yeah, and usually the 5K and the Ultra will be on Saturday, and the Ultra will continue into Sunday. And then Sunday is the half and the full marathon are run on the same course and start at the same time. So that is, and they also have, just to say, there are wheelchair athletes and
Yeah, their own separate division.
yeah.
The wheelchair athletes are so fast.
Oh my gosh.
They're amazingly fast.
They
And
start first.
They start 1st ahead of the runners, so that you don't have the potential for collisions.
Uh-huh.
And then, for those that have more profound problems where they may have to have somebody assist them, we were out on the course with people being pushed in wheelchairs, and they're right there with the other runners. Again, getting fed, getting a drink,
Fun.
getting cheered
Yeah.
on,
Super
photo ops
fun.
with people that are in the neighborhood. I mean, it's just a great time.
I love it.
Yeah.
That this is a race that's accessible to everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So how do you register for this race, and how far in advance do you need to to plan to go here?
Well,
Yeah.
this is a pretty big event. I
Yeah.
know that registration for 2020 is already open.
It is. It opened in May,
Okay.
and that's typical.
All
It
right.
usually opens then.
And they have a great website. They're breastcancermarathon.com.
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
you can go there, you can register, you can do a single race event. So if you just want to register for the 5K
Yeah.
or the half, or you can register for one of their challenges where you run them all.
Okay.
Do the 5K, do the half marathon, or do the 5K and the full marathon.
Which is what we did.
Yeah.
We did the 5K and the half.
Wow.
Yeah, we do both races.
Yeah.
When
That's
we're there.
impressive.
But then you get an extra medal.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
we're in it for the bling too.
That's right.
And if you fundraise, then that can also offset registration cost.
Yeah. So while we're
So-
talking about costs, what are registration costs?
So we have for the 5K, it's $35.
Okay.
As of when we went to the website and we saw what the 2020 registration fees are, and then $95 for the half.
Okay.
So for what we registered for, but if you choose to fundraise, then you can have it would be a lesser cost, or you could cover the full cost as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great to know. Now, I figure hotels are probably booking up quickly for a big event. When would you book your hotel? How far in advance? And then what hotel should you book for
Well,
this?
I would say that if you're planning on going or you're looking at it, start looking at hotels early. I mean, it is Jacksonville, which is the largest city in the state of Florida, so there's tons of hotels, but the secret's picking the right one.
Yeah.
And I'm almost afraid to give the secret away.
Well, that's okay because we've
already
have
booked our
Oh,
room.
you already booked your room.
So,
See?
we're
Yeah,
gonna
now
give-
you can tell our listeners.
It's okay. So we're going to tell you the secret. There is a fantastic Embassy Suites on Bay Meadows Drive.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
is a very short driving distance from the beaches, 15 to 20 minutes from the beaches.
Yeah.
On race morning, even with traffic, it's no more than 20 to 25 minutes from the door to the parking spot that you're going to be at for the race.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic location. The hotel itself, they are geared for business travelers. Of course, it's an Embassy Suites,
Yeah.
but it is strategically located very close to the interstate if you want to go into downtown for some other spots that we're going to tell you about.
Yeah.
And it's also just a quick drive down surface streets to get you out to the beaches.
Yeah.
The hotel has hot breakfast in the morning.
Included.
All right.
Included in your
Stay.
cost. And it's right next to a fantastic restaurant called Four Rivers Barbecue.
Oh yeah, that's
and
great.
it's right down the street from one of the best brew pubs in the Jacksonville area, which is Wicked
Barley. Brewing
Wicked
Company.
Barley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
So-
great.
So that's our secret
Yeah.
for travelers who are going to this race.
Yeah.
That is a great secret. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And you're mentioning drive distances and that sort of thing. How's the public transportation in Jacksonville? And do you need to rent a car?
I would recommend renting a car, only because the city of Jacksonville incorporated the entire area of Duval County. So while it is one of the largest cities in terms of population, it's also one of the largest in terms of land area.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at the logistics of getting to a race, you don't want to be beholden to public transit, which may not be on time. Something could happen. If you miss a bus, you might be out of luck. So for this event, we're going to suggest renting a car and having your own transportation available to you. You could do rideshare. You could
Yeah,
do like
yep.
Uber or Lyft as well, but something that's you're not having to rely on scheduled public transportation would probably be more reliable in this event.
Okay.
Right.
Now, you mentioned a few restaurants earlier, but let's say you have just finished that half marathon.
Oh.
You are starving.
Oh, yeah.
You need food, but you love good food.
Yes.
You know, you're not going to settle.
Right?
No.
No.
We are
No.
not.
Exactly. So, where are you going for that food after your race?
Well,
I mean, since you've been fed with mimosas and blueberry muffins throughout the day.
I know, but you're running that off though. You got to refuel after.
Hey, okay.
You
okay.
know.
All right.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
am I right?
You are right.
Because you cross the finish line, we cross the finish line, and we're like, hey, we got the medals, we party a little bit at the after party, but right around the corner from the after party, like walk just a few steps more,
Yes.
would be Poe's Tavern, named after Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh.
The whole place is themed after Edgar Allan Poe. Pages of his work adorn the walls. Pictures of the author everywhere.
Wow.
And we didn't mention it, but Amy used to be an English teacher.
True.
So she's very partial to
I
Edgar
am.
Allan Poe.
I am.
Okay.
For 12 years. But
And they were also a fantastic sponsor of the race, and they had a booth at the
5K.
after party.
Yeah.
And that's how we learned
true.
about them.
Okay.
So we said, well, we're going to explore and go find them.
Yeah, because they had little sliders at the after party, and we were like, yes, we have to have more of this and bigger.
And
Like, did you hear a heart beating, like in the bathroom somewhere? Were you afraid?
the burger wasn't that rare.
Okay.
No, and I will tell you, though, to your point, when you go to the restroom inside of the restaurant, the audiobooks of Edgar Allan Poe are playing overhead. You can hear them.
Wow.
Yes. So
Everything on the menu is themed after his books.
short
Okay.
stories
Or short
and
stories
poems.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 2 items that we had
Oh,
from the menu.
Okay, tell me.
Okay.
Tell me. I need to know.
All right, the one I had was the Black Cat Burger.
Black Cat Burger. Okay,
Yes.
what is in this Black Cat Burger?
It's topped with applewood smoked bacon and Edgar's Drunken Chili. And that means it has beer in it.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't taste super alcoholic,
Okay.
but it just adds a level of spice and heat.
Okay.
But then it's also topped with grilled onions and pimento cheese.
Wait, did you just say pimento cheese?
Pimento cheese.
I love pimento cheese. I love
Caviar of the
pimento.
South.
Yes.
Caviar
oh my
of
gosh.
the South.
Yes.
Exactly. It was so, and they'll cook it to whatever temperature you want. It was so good.
So they paired the pimento cheese with this chili,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it worked.
Oh, it totally
Yes.
worked. That beer chili is, you would just get a cup of that. In
I would.
February in Jacksonville, it can get a little chilly, and it was a little chilly on the course, and it was just a great way to warm up. And you had
Yeah.
that burger, the chili, and I went a different route.
Yes,
Oh,
you did.
tell
I mean,
me.
I got a bite of hers, and it was fantastic, but I
Yes.
ended up going with the sleeper.
The sleeper.
And the sleeper is topped with roasted garlic cloves, blue cheese, and fried buffalo shrimp
Oh.
no.
as a burger topping
It was
No,
amazing.
You did not just
So it
say
was a
that.
surf
I love
and turf
buffalo.
on a bun.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
Wow.
And
Okay.
she mentioned that they'll do cook temperatures.
Yep.
I like my beef a little more on the rare side, and they're
Okay.
not afraid to do a true medium rare. So you get, if you like pink in your meat, it is perfectly cooked.
Love it.
And their burgers are enormous. You're talking, they're the size of a I don't know, a softball or bigger. I mean, they're enormous.
Yeah.
Like a
And
manhole cover.
Just like eating a manhole cover.
Do you know if they have the Impossible Burger there or Beyond Burger?
The
I
last
think
time we were there, Impossible had not hit the market yet.
Okay.
So I'll be curious to see when we
That's-
go back in 2020 if it's available.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
good question.
I had the Beyond Burger about a month ago. I
Mhm.
thought it was okay, and I just had the Impossible Burger the other day. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
It was amazing.
If
it was
you didn't
absolutely
know,
amazing. I had no idea.
It
You
would
could have
fool you.
Right?
could have told me it was just a regular meat burger, and I would have 100% believed you.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if they weren't pursuing something like that
Right.
there. I mean,
Right.
their stock in trade at this place really is their burgers.
Right.
And
okay.
they do have salad, so, and
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
robust, so you could, but I think that a lot of people or a lot of restaurants are getting on that bandwagon with the Impossible Burger. We
Yeah.
first had it at the Epcot Food and Wine Festival.
Yes.
Oh, fun.
And it was really good.
And we eat vegan 6 days a week, and
Sure,
then
yeah.
on day 7 we eat what I call drunken frat boy.
Yeah.
That enables us, between that and the running, that enables us to
Yeah.
have these splurge days when we're recording the show. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
worked
this,
out really
yeah.
well.
this is great. This is
Yeah.
absolutely great. Okay, and are there any final tips for coming to Jacksonville, doing the race
Well,
that you'd like to offer up?
yeah, well, we are all about accomplishing, exploring, and indulging on the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Yes.
So we've accomplished by running the race. You're exploring delicious food. When it's time to indulge, you've got to go find a place to have a tasty beverage.
Oh.
Yes.
So we do have a tip for everybody that might be heading to Jacksonville.
Yes, Intuition Ale Works, which is right across from the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium.
Uh-huh.
It has an amazing rooftop. It's a huge building. There are 2 different levels, but the rooftop area where you can have a cold beer.
They've reclaimed this
Oh,
old warehouse.
that's great.
And it's just this brick facade and you know, painted sign right on the brick.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous area down there. And they're brewing and they're canning right there in the facility where
Yes.
you're at. They have a great tap room downstairs. That
Yes.
rooftop that Amy mentioned is gorgeous
Yes.
and a phenomenal view of the city skyline.
Oh,
But they're
yeah.
beers.
Oh, they're beers. And actually, one of them is here.
One of them is being served here at
At the-
the hotel we're staying
Oh,
at here.
here in
for,
Orlando.
for-
What's the name
so
of it?
This is the John Boat Coastal Ale. And
John
it's-
Boat Coastal Ale.
It's an English golden ale. It's I loved that.
a nice,
Light,
smooth, light,
refreshing after
Okay.
a
easy
run.
drinking
All right.
beer. 4.5% ABV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Not
too
a high
intimidating.
IBU.
No.
Not very
Okay.
bitter, not
Okay.
very bitter, not very high in alcohol content. But if you wanted to go higher in alcohol content right at the same time of year in February of the race, they have the Underdark Imperial Double Stout, which is a special release that people will line up for in this very same race weekend or just a little bit beforehand.
Uh-huh.
It's barrel aged in Willet rye barrels.
Wow.
And
And
that's
that's-
that being a double imperial stout that's got a much higher IBU, 9.5% ABV.
Yeah.
Underdark is a nod to all of the Dungeons and Dragons fans out there. In fact, their labeling and packaging on the bottle has a picture of the Beholder, which is a monster from Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
They
Oh,
do a
Lord.
release party where they play Dungeons and Dragons in the tap room.
All right.
It's a neat bunch of guys
Yeah.
that are there doing some crazy stuff with beer.
Yeah.
They have, I think, 15 or so different flavors on tap that they're doing. But those are the 2 we wanted to mention, to check those out. Because
Yeah.
that one, the Underdark, is released in February. So if you're there
Yes.
for the race, you may luck out and be able to get some when you're
And
there.
then John Boat is like one of their flagship beers. So.
Yeah. And that one they distribute throughout the state.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should go have a beer later tonight at John Boat.
Oh, we should have a John Boat.
It's a date.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should.
All right. Well, truly, thank you guys so much for joining me
Sure.
on experiencesyoushouldhave.com. And I want to make sure that our listeners know about anything going on in your world or your podcast you'd like to share.
Sure.
Oh.
Well, when we're going right from this conference to the Anchorage Run Fest in Anchorage, Alaska.
This
Okay.
weekend.
And
yes.
this weekend we'll be running the 1 mile fun run on Saturday,
And the half marathon on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
and then turning right back around and heading back to our day jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
All
if-
right.
If anybody wants to find out more, we're at runeatdrink.net, and we're Run Eat Drink Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, or Run Eat Drink Pod on Twitter.
All right. So, listeners, go check these amazing people out. They are super cool. They know their food, they know their drink, they know how to have a good time. And they're not just sitting at a cubicle every day, they are exploring the world through running, eating, and drinking.
It's an
Yes.
experience that we think you should have.
Yes. And thank you so much for having us on the show.
Anytime. And for you listeners out there, if you loved this show, then please go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. And please tell a friend about the show. Check us out on Instagram on Experiences Podcast. Leave a comment. If you have an idea for an experience that others should have that can be replicated and can provide a how-to guide to make it happen, then hit me up at experiencesyoushouldhave.com, click on contact, and send me a note. I want to hear from you. I want to learn about all these amazing experiences in the world. And just something to note, I'm going to keep on highlighting the accessibility of these experiences, if they are accessible or if they aren't, but to learn how everyone might be able to do these really cool experiences around the world. And until next time.